Oh, Councilmember Prisco.
I don't have business. I just have a comment to make. I should have spoke earlier during visitor comments, but I was biting my tongue. But I just have to say something, I think, tonight.
Sometimes it gets to you. And before you go on, I received an email from a resident saying we should censure Councilmember Elmer Trombley for getting into it with one of our residents. But you know what? When people don't respect this body and these individuals, they don't deserve the respect back. And I'll just leave it at that.
Well,
I was going to speak for Elmer.
This is as a homeowner and taxpayer that I'm saying this.
Okay.
I am disgusted that we have to spend city resources, our time and money for our staff to answer these frivolous questions every week for years from the same people who have no better use of their time than to come here every week. And believe me, I respect all residents who come here and talk. I know how hard it is. Most residents. But this is so frivolous and so pathetic that we have the same individuals coming and harassing our staff every week, using staff time for questions. I don't know if it's for what purpose they serve, and it's not the same questions, it's different ones. Every person has a right.
I believe the questions tonight were coming from a former employee.
But as a taxpayer, I'm irritated that my tax dollars are going to spend this frivolous time answering questions that we're going to have a whole new batch to answer next week. So while they complain about their taxes, the police department, and whatever else every week, they're the ones wasting taxpayer dollars that we have to have our city manager, our city clerk, and the rest of staff jumping around through hoops all week instead of doing their work, looking at these answers, and they want the answers immediately. So I just have to say, as a taxpayer, I'm very irritated that these people can't get involved and run for office or sit on a committee and help the city instead of being here every week harassing staff and harassing council without any positive solutions or feedback.
Maybe we should make these freedom of information requests instead of requests. If they require staff time,
I will support that 100%.
Staff time for research, staff time to get the information. If it's a general question that can be given pretty easily, and it's not the same people coming up, I honestly believe the questions tonight were a front from a former retired employee. Those are definitely questions that I see, and I'm just really disappointed. When somebody has to read the questions and doesn't even know what the questions are, you know that they're not theirs. And that's just really disappointing. I share your concerns, and we need to come up with a policy that it become a freedom of information request.
And I don't want to discourage residents from coming down here, but this is, my gosh, I was on council 14 years ago and came back after 10, and this is still happening. The same people. It's ridiculous.
Honor.
Sorry, that's
Councilmember Elmer Trombley.
I agree with everything you said. And what really gets me, I've been on this council almost 29 years in November. And I believe in God, and I believe in the citizens of Riverview, that I try to do the best job I can do. And the people that want to whine to the mayor and to the city manager that don't have enough guts to come and address me personally, because when it does happen, I will give him a load of my mind too. I'm like Betty. I'm sick and tired of the showtime up here every Monday night on the council meeting.
Your Honor, I've been biting my lip a little bit too, but let's remember, residents have the opportunity to use their 5 minutes as they please. Any resident is allowed to come up there and ask any question they would like. But let's use some facts here. And I'm going to refer to Doug, that the numbers that were presented, that you reiterated on week after week after week, we have an annual audit that is turned into the state of Michigan. And I would just like to ask Doug, with all the numbers that have been thrown out there, where all these numbers were coming from a couple of audience members, and the numbers that the mayor, the city manager, yourself have been putting out, are those the numbers that you are going to turn in at the city of Riverview's audit? And when it comes down to the $90-some thousand savings, is that what we're looking at here?
That's correct, Councilman.
I don't think there's another question to be asked.
It will be asked next week. So, but we do need to come up with a policy. You're right. We don't need to discourage people coming down asking legitimate questions, but the same for 10 or 15 years, asking questions just for the sake of asking questions and derailing staff time and council's efforts and everything else needs to stop.